What's up? Hello. Greetings. Greetings. What's up? This month has been good. I've had lots of fun. Lots of fun coming up. Super cool. So let's get into it. So start of the month. It's good. I went on a shroom hike with Senya. That was fun. I don't think I'll take shrooms with her again. She's a vibe, but not my vibe on shrooms. I just wanted to show her how to have a good time. And I did that. We went to Tabletop Mountain. It was very cool. Honestly wish I was there by myself, but the homie was showing her shrooms, giving her a chance. I will not be taking it again with her, but that's okay. I would trip sit for her. So yeah. Anyway, so that was cool. And then kind of just hanging out after that. A few weeks passed in a blur. Just finish up with classes. It was funny because my teacher came up to me and she pulled me aside in the hall and just asked me if I was doing okay, if I needed any help because she noticed my grades were slipping. So then I told her, "Don't worry, I'm okay. This is what I do. This is how I do school because I give it my all at the beginning and then kind of fizzle it out at the end." And I pulled through with a B, a solid B. So that's what I wanted. And finished up OB. Let's go. Got P. Starts tomorrow. So that was cool. We went out for brunch afterwards. Got a few drinks. This guy bought us a shot, and then went to Shay's place. We smoked, and then watched this 2.5 hour Odyssey animation, which was pretty goofy, but it was funny. Break was cool. I hiked. I went hiking 3 times because I hiked yesterday. Still counts as break. I hiked once at the beginning of the week with Bree, and then once with Jacob, one of Jaden's friends. I knew him from Chico. I consider him my friend now. Knew him from Chico, and I only interacted with him when he was blackout drunk, and it was really funny because he'd always be so nice. But turns out he thought I was super scary when he was sober for whatever reason. And but we hung out a lot actually, and it was a good time. And then I just went on a hike. Well, it was more like a scramble, but I was out there for a bit. It was a scramble hike. It was super fun. It was kind of scary at times because there were areas where if you fell off, you would die, or maybe just get hurt really badly. I was wearing my helmet though. Think, think. So that was fun. I have been hanging out, hiking, playing some video games. Let's talk about my spring break. So went out for St. Patrick's Day with Jacob, Jaden, and who else did we go with? I think it was just and Trent. So that was pretty fun. It was a fun night. And then, dude, there's this hot older lady, this hot MILF, and I have a sign that says, "Kiss me, I'm Irish," and I tried it on her, and she said, "We'll find you someone that will." So, dang it. Anyways, we go, and I end up talking to her husband as well, and he was just telling me all this stuff about his religion, Buddhism. I think that's what he said, and just about your heart way and what you want to heart way. I don't know, heart path, heart something, and what you want to do in life. And I was telling him, what I want to do, and he's saying, just be you, be true to you. You're loved how you are. Just be you, type of thing. So that was kind of reaffirming to hear. And then So that was cool. And then we had also seen this other guy grabbing his wife's ass as they're all together, and I was just thinking to myself, "Holy crap, what is going on? That's crazy." Anyways, so we leave there, then we go to this other bar, specifically Jacob, Trent, and then Anna. Trent's partner ends up coming too, and we're all hanging out, having a good time. I talk to some people, and I meet this girly there. Hit her. We are just talking. Hit her up. Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? Just kidding. Anyways, talking to her went good. Asked her if I could get her number. Let's go to coffee, and she said yes. So I was just thinking to myself, well, nice. Anyways, stood out for a little longer. Then we went to get food. Jacob and I were the only ones left. And he asked me, we going to another bar? No, dude, we're gonna go get food and we're going home. So we get food, and he meets these two Israeli women and starts talking to them. And then at certain points in the conversation, they start talking in Hebrew. Jacob starts eating some of their food. They don't care. It was just funny. And then eventually they're getting ready to leave and pay their bill. And then Jacob starts counting money, pulling it out. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh man, is this guy going to give them money? And then he asks them how much it is. And then they tell him, and he gives them $60. And he says, here, I insist. My mom raised me good. He's very drunk, by the way, at this point. Extremely drunk. He's like, my mom raised me good to treat women with respect. And then, so yeah, so then he gave them $60. And then he turns to me and stares at me, just dead expression. Nick, we gotta go. I speak a little Russian and they're trying to scam us. And I say, Jacob, what? What are you saying? He says, I speak a little Russian. They're trying to scam us. We need to go right now. So he stands up, leaves his food. He didn't even touch his food that he ordered. So I grab his food. I say, Jacob, or no, I don't grab his food yet. I was like, Jacob, what's going on? He's like, they're trying to order drinks and have us pay for them. They're trying to scam us. I told him, Jacob, you just gave them $60 for free. They don't serve alcohol here. This is a Muslim restaurant. So I was just so confused. He's like, come on, we gotta go. We gotta go. So we go outside and he's trying to run away. And I tell him, Jacob, I'm gonna go get some dessert. Wait here. They're not trying to scam us. And he just keeps saying, oh, they're not? What? They're not? So I go in and get dessert. I come outside. And I just see him across the street walking in the opposite direction from us. And I shout to him, Jacob, what are you doing? The Uber's on its way. And he just turns to me and goes, oh, I was going home. Like, bro, you don't even know where you're going. So we get home. Oh, after I run back in and grab his food because he left it. And then we get into the apartment building. And then it's funny, right as we get inside, he drops the food everywhere. It just exploded all over the carpet. And, at that point, I just looked at it and sighed because there's not even trying to do that. We're both drunk. So yeah, so then I hit up the girl the next day, schedule a coffee date. So yeah, and then third in the week, I think that very next day, we also Jacob and I went to a state park, and it was this really cool canyon, and then we took mushrooms, and I think honestly it was such a good experience because he also has taken mushrooms before, so it was an experience of taking mushrooms with someone that I like his company, but I'm also not super close to him, and I've never taken mushrooms with him, but also he has taken mushrooms a good fair share, so also another fellow shroomer. So then also navigating that, it's his trip as well as it is both of ours in a sense, because he's more used to tripping by himself, so he just does things on his own. So then it was kind of just navigating through that, and then instead of feeling like I needed to follow him everywhere and keep an eye on him, I remember thinking to myself, like, Jacob's an adult. He's done shrooms before. He can do whatever the hell he wants. I told him where we're gonna stay, and yeah, but I kept worrying about him, and then it felt kind of weird at first, just the thing where I kind of wished I was alone. But then as soon as I kind of got the grasp of how he was, and it's his experience as well as my experience, so he needs to go do what he needs to do, which makes sense. If you've taken mushrooms before, because you kind of just do what you want to do, and you just kind of do what makes you feel good. So it was just good, but I was worried about him, and I was thinking about him because he just left without his phone or anything. So I was pretty worried about him, but I was like, oh, he'll be fine. But then it got to the point where I hadn't seen him for a while, and I was like, oh, let me go find Jacob. So I went to find him, and then eventually he came back. And then it was funny. He's told me right at that moment he was thinking he was gonna get, how nature is great and all this stuff. But then he's like, there's mountain lions in nature, there's snakes in nature. And then he heard people laughing, and he started getting anxious, and he was like, I need to go find Nick. So I found him, so we both felt better, and then we both talked about it, and then so then eventually the second time he left around because I started playing music, and he was like, "Oh, I don't want to rain on your parade or anything, but I'm just gonna put in my own headphones and go over here." Which at the time I kind of felt a little like, "Ooh," but then at the same time, like I said, it's his own trip, and if he doesn't want to listen to the specific music I want to listen to, I absolutely want him to listen to whatever he wants to listen to. So it was just a good experience, and thinking about him versus me, where it's not like any one, it's just him and I are doing our own things, and we can come together at times, but it's still each of our own experiences. So that was just a cool thing to think on. Another thing is too is because he's a very funny guy, so then I kind of start comparing myself to him a little bit, because I like to be funny, I like to be the center of attention, loud, whatever, outgoing. So then I start comparing myself to him, but then it's another thing where, it's me. I am me and he is him. I can't compare myself to him. I am me and he is him. And that's just another thing. I am me and he is him. And then that made me feel better. Uh, and then it was just a fun time overall. He was collecting rocks the whole time, and by the time we got to leave, he had freaking hella rocks in his pockets. They were sagging down because he had so many. It's so funny. Uh, and then another point too, or it was just really cool being in the canyon. It was the coolest spot to trip. I need to trip there again or take people, like if any of Evan or Austin come ever. But it was just so cool, and yeah, it was just super cool. Anyways, at one point he was picking down or bending down, looking at a stick. So I said, "Oh my God, it looks like a gun!" And he got so scared because he thought it was a snake and like panicked. It was just really funny. I felt bad afterwards though, but I kept mentioning it through the whole day. And then, anyways, we stayed there up until sunset, and then we got down, and then we just kind of hung out at the car for like an hour, uh, and watched just my favorite thing is the sky changing from sunset to just deep umbral purple. That night sky. That oh gosh. So it was just awesome being out there. Oh, another thing I thought of was just about like I guess being lonely, but in the sense of not having just a person to spend a lot of time with. Just because I think about a lot of people in my life, and either they have a lot of shit going on, they're very busy, or they already have a partner. So then I'm just thinking there, like, man, I have friends, but not like that. So I want to spend a lot of time with. So I was kind of sad, but then whatever. Anyways, fast forward a few days, or just in general too. I've been hiking a lot and doing cardio, trying to do it every day. Like getting my heart rate down has been really cool on Stairmaster, so that's been cool. Uh, Anyways, so I went to go on this date on Saturday. Saturday, I'm gonna win 'em all day. What did I do on Friday? We went out. Oh yeah, Friday was Jaden's graduation. It was cool. We day drank. I was so tired. And then cardio the next day, my heart rate was just skyrocketing. So I just feel it, in the cardio. And then, so Saturday I went on my date, which was cool. It went well. We hung out practically from like 1 till 9 o'clock, and it was cool. And it went super well. I don't know, I wasn't feeling crazy about it. She was cool. I also kind of felt a little superficial, unfortunately. I'm just spilling my tea. If anyone's mad about this, this is my fucking blah video diary, so shut the fuck up. Anyways, so she kind of had some funky looking bottom teeth, slightly. Not anything crazy, just slightly pretty yellow, and then her gums look kind of puffy. I was like, oh, it looks like you haven't brushed your teeth or something. I don't know. Anyways, super cute girl besides that. Super cute girl. And then I also noticed she had leg hair, and not that there's anything wrong with it. Like, if it was the right one, I wouldn't care. You know what I mean? I was told this the other day. We'll get into that later. But then I was also kind of just like, ooh. And then we were just talking about all of our hobbies and everything, and she just was telling me she likes to read, watch movies, go to the gym, which is cool, but I'm kind of looking for someone to do things with outside specifically, and that's what means a lot to me right now is being outside, doing things outside, exploring. And then so I think that was kind of like, oh, this is going to be kind of like how it was with Kimberly, whereas, it would be me forcing her to go outside, not her being like, let's go fucking do some cool shit. You know what I mean? Uh, so yeah, so that's kind of just whatever. But it still just went super well. And then we ended the night, made out. It was cool. And then the next night, I had worked fucking 13 and a half hours, and I was just exhausted because I worked all day, just mentally. And then she texted me all this stuff about my politics, like, oh, I just need to interrogate you really quickly. What are your politics? This, that. And it just kind of off put me. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just kind of from the get go, she was already asking that stuff, and we'd barely just been on our first date. So I was just like, for one, it kind of seems like she's super serious, or just leaning more towards getting together. Um, I was like, oh, don't you think that's a little soon? I don't know. It just kind of seemed like she was more serious about it in a sense. And then, yeah, so I was kind of put off. Made me feel weird because also specifically I've had interactions where people just like like kind of turn on you just because you don't follow their political beliefs, you know? So this is another situation where if I hadn't didn't have the same political beliefs as her, she would not want to interact with me. So I just, even though I did, I'm just like, oh, this is kind of weird, makes me feel weird, and then makes me think back to this guy I met at a bar and we were chilling, and then he starts asking me about Trump because he's a Trumpy, and then it just gets hella aggressive from there, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, you stupid motherfucker. Anyways, not that there's anything wrong with her asking me this stuff. I just felt like it was too soon, and then just felt like, oh, she's trying to just, I don't know. Yeah, and then I also started getting cold feet because I'm like, oh, ooh, and then all the other stuff I said earlier. So I was like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. Eh. And then, so anyways, I was kind of feeling sad about that a little bit. You know, like I could have had a person, but then I don't know, whatever. I wasn't feeling it. It is what it is. And then I talked to one of my coworkers about it actually at the gym I work at. And then I told her about it, and she was just like, for one, for the stuff I had my icks about, she was like, yes, it's superficial, but if she was the one, you wouldn't care. And she just told me an example about how one of her last people she was seeing drank a shit ton, and it just grossed her out, and it was horrible. But then she's like, my last boyfriend, he drank a shit ton, and I loved him. So it just, if it's the person, stuff like that, you won't care as much. She's also just saying, be open. It's okay to date a few people at a time, and just kind of, it also helps if one person is kind of being toxic. You can be like, oh, this other person isn't, and then kind of compare. And then she also said it's a competition, you want to pick the best one, and it's freaking competition to finish off with you and that stuff. And then also don't rush, take your time getting to know a person. And then if you're not feeling it, it's okay. Uh, so yeah, so then that was yesterday. But then on Monday, I went to so basically Sunday night, I was at work and I was just scrolling through shows in Denver and I saw fucking Quarters, which was formerly Quarters of Change, which was a song Evan showed me last year on one of our shroom adventures. So he showed me the song and it has this crazy guitar solo. So then I would just listen to it and then I listened to more of their music. And then I see them and I'm like, what the fuck? It's just crazy because it's just so random, It's so freaking random that they're coming to Denver. So random. And so anyways, I just bought a ticket last minute and I just sent it. Took some mushrooms, went, and I was listening to the opener. Openers were fantastic. I missed the first one unfortunately, but the second opener, the lead singer sounded like freaking Haley Williams. It was so cool. Uh, so that was cool. And anyways, I'm waiting for the second or for Quarters to come on. And for one, I'm kind of feeling self-conscious because all these people are just indie looking people with their indie fits, and I'm in my giant ass cargo shorts and my uh yeah, so my giant ass cargo shorts and then my uh whatever it's called, my gun not Gundam, my Megazord shirt. So I was kind of feeling self-conscious, but then I was like, I don't know. And then also I was kind of feeling sad because I was thinking to myself I could have brought the girl here because I see so many people with couples, and I just was thinking to myself, damn it, whatever. And then and then I went up to this guy, or no, then I think to myself like, what did I think to myself? I don't know. I was just listening to music and I just thought to myself, whatever, fuck it. I'm right here. I'm right now. I don't care about what could have been or what is, or like what isn't. I am here. I am here right now, right here. I'm right here right now. And that's kind of, that helped me get through that kind of sad feeling a little bit. Like I'm right here. I'm right now. Could have been, would have been, should have been. What if? But it's not. It's not here. It's not now. So it's just stay in the moment, listen to the good music, and just have a good time. And that made me feel a lot better because it's true, There's no point of thinking what could have been when I'm listening to some great music on some mushrooms, so who cares? Then eventually, I was also kind of in the back, kind of just dancing a little bit because I didn't really know them, right? So know the opener, so I was just like, oh, this is cool, and I kind of felt uncomfortable to dance too much. But then eventually they ended, and then kind of some people cleared out, and I was thinking to myself, ooh, should I move up front? I don't know. Ooh, should I move up front? I don't know. Ooh, should I move up front? I don't know. Just because there's so many short girls up front, so I kind of felt bad if I were to block them. But then I see this dude and he's tall and he's in the front, so I just go scoot up next to him and I tap him on the shoulder, just, hey, what's up? I just was gonna come up front because I saw you up here, so you gave me the courage because I don't want to be the only tall one up front. Um, so then I just got to talking to him. His name was Owen. We just got to talking. He told me he came for that last band because he knows them. He's seen them a few times, and then I was telling him I came for the headliners, and they're really good. And I was telling him there's a song that they have that's just such a good solo, and he'll be in for a good time. So we just got chatting, and then they came on, and it was funny because the lead singer was wearing a funky fit like I would wear, like my really flowy pants, and then I instantly just felt better because I'm like, who the fuck cares what I wear? I want to wear what I want to wear. I'm me. Let me dress. I'm gonna dress how I want to dress, and even if it's different, then it is what it is. Like I wore a fun fit to Jane's wedding, not wedding. Sorry, what the fuck? It was a graduation. So it's like, who the fuck cares? I'll wear whatever I want. I just get in my head a little bit sometimes, especially around people like that have all a very specific style, and that's not the style that I'm currently wearing because I have lots of styles. Anyways, yeah. So then we just got to talking, songs coming on. We're just like, going back and forth, like, oh shit, and then just like, oh yeah, and then I also just start dancing, because it's the music I know, and I'm so hyped because it's so cool. And I actually know the music, so we're just dancing, having a good time, and then Kiwi comes on, and holy shit, just such a good solo, such a good song. Oh man, I started crying a little bit because it was just so good, and I was so happy I got to hear it live, and it's just so crazy to me that I got to hear it live, and just so crazy to me. And I'm like, oh, if I never moved to Denver or this, never moved to Denver for that. So it's just cool, and I'm really loving Denver, and I really like it here a lot. So yeah, anyways, the show ends just saying what's up. He has a cool girlfriend. Her name's Corey, and then we also met this other girl, Dana. She's funny. She's just funny. She's a cool person, just also funny. But they're all super cool. And then they're like, okay, drinks after. So I was like, fuck it. Like I didn't get anything to drink, but I just got some Diet Cokes, and then just chatting. And I was chatting to Owen about a lot of stuff, and he's such a cool guy. He's done so many cool things, like he works in Alaska in the summer, steamboat in the winter, traveled a lot, and he was just super cool. And then we started talking about our interests. Likes the same movies as me, like similar books. He pulled out the fucking Dungeon Crawler Carl because he asked me if I read, and I said yes. And I said, Lit RPG, have you ever heard of it? And he's like, Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm gonna get to that can of worms in a sec. Also, can of worms. Like, what the fuck is a can of worms? Like rabbit hole. Like I get rabbit hole, but a can of worms. Opening a can of worm. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so I was like, holy shit. And we were talking about our books to each other, and I was talking about all my favorite books, and it was just super cool because typically when people ask what I read in the past, I've always hated when people ask what I read because it's like demon goes to an alternate dimension and reloops or some random bullshit, Dungeon Crawler Carl. What the fuck does that mean, Dungeon Crawler Carl? So it's just cool. It's been cool, and especially I've seen Dungeon Crawler Carl in the wild more, which has been super cool because it's kind of I don't know, it's made the genre explode. And this is a genre I've been reading since almost I was 12 years old, I've been reading these books for as long as I can remember, and this is all I read. And this is what I tell everyone when I read that I'm just stuck in this stupid genre, but I love it so much. So it was just cool because I was talking to him about some other books I've read. It was just cool to kind of geek out on it a little bit because you don't always like this is one of the few times I've met someone that has read these types of books or wanted to, and the other people I've met that have read Dungeon Crawler Carl have only read Dungeon Crawler Carl just because it's so popular, you know? So it's like I haven't met any OGs, but to that, I'll get into stuff later, but there's a lit RPG con convention in fucking Denver. So I was like, holy shit, because I knew about it, because my friend told me, and they were like, oh, my husband's going, you should go with him. Yeah, but motherfucker knows I like Dungeon Crawler Carl and doesn't fucking text me, so whatever, whatever. I like this genre more than you do, motherfucker. So I'm gonna go by myself if he doesn't text me back, because I texted him or with another friend, and he kind of seemed a little down. But regardless, I'm gonna go by myself because I checked the guest authors, and there are so many from so many books that I have read, and it's just crazy because It's just crazy to me because it's just such a small genre. It's like so niche, and there's a whole convention, and then it's just crazy. And then it's just crazy that I got into these, at such a young age, and I've always used them as like an escape when life has been hard because it's been nice. I don't know, just imagining you're somewhere else, somewhere fantastical, somewhere cool, where you could use powers, which kind of started with Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, that type of stuff. Um, so it's been, I don't know, they've always just been an escape, and especially these type of games, where there's stats and levels and magic, and so it's just that was my escape, and I feel like it kind of got me through early life because it was tough at times. I would say some of the toughest times I've had. Um, I don't think I've ever said this to anyone, so it's like I don't know. I'm just gonna say it here. Like I definitely thought about like killing myself at times. I don't know, just because I hated life and I hated myself and didn't have any friends and I don't know. There's just a lot of self hate. I feel like those books were just like the escape that I needed. Um, yeah, and yeah, so I'm happy that I was able to read them, and they're also just fucking cool books too, and I just love them. So then I was seeing all the authors, and I'm like, I know you, I know you, I know you, I know you. So it'll just be cool, and I get to meet them and just give my thanks for such awesome books. Yeah. So yeah, so it's super fucking cool, and I'm excited to go. Anyways, back to the guy. So he's just so cool. We just were talking back and forth. It just felt as if he kept pulling shit out of my mind, just reading my mind, and it was really weird. I was like, dude, I was like, what do you mean you're taking these thoughts from my mind? Like same movies, anime, books, outdoorsy. He was just such a cool guy. Made a cool friend, and then eventually, so it turns out the girlfriend and the other girl I met were going to this one show called Sticky Fingers on the next Sunday. So next Sunday, this following Sunday, this coming Sunday, and then he was like, I have to work, but then they kind of convinced him to go, and he's like, Nick, you're going, and they're both like, Nick, you're going, and they're all three were like, Nick, you're going, and I'm like, okay, I'll go. So then he bought a ticket for me, sent him money, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna stay in the Airbnb with us, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna see again, we're gonna take some mushrooms. I was like, hell yeah. So it was just super cool. And then it made me think, if I did have continued thanks with that girl and had invited her out tonight and, she came, then I maybe would have never met them. And they're super cool. And then Corey was also really cool. I was talking to her about a bunch of stuff. Like, if Evan met her, he'd be head over heels. Like, that girl is super cool. Ski bummery to the max. Like a ski bum, like a ripper, dude. Like, hell yeah, dude. And she's super cool. They're both super cool. And then I was talking to her about just random shit, and then yeah, just good conversation, and then yeah, just great conversation with all of them, and then Dana was cool too. Yeah, I just had some fantastic conversations, and then yeah, then I just went home, and yeah, yeah, what does this say? To individual correlation content. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I've been good. I've been happy. Just gonna bide my time and kind of just hang out. I've been good, yeah. It's been nice. It's been good. So I'm excited for my raves to come. I think it'll be fun. And yeah, so anyways. Shut the fuck up, cars. Yeah. Oh, went on like a 12-mile walk today in my Birkenstocks and my feet got cooked. I got blisters and yeah, it was a fun time. I should have worn my walking shoes. But anyways, I done legs yesterday and got that walking test done, so it was good. Yeah, it was just nice outside. Went with Osier. He was cool. And yeah, it was funny. It started, hey, you want to go get coffee? Yeah, sure. Hey, you want to go get ice cream? It's 2.5 miles away. Yeah, sure. Hey, you want to go to the park? It's like another 3 miles away. Yeah, sure. And we were like, oh, we're 6 miles away from home. Yeah, it was fun. Because I want to try to hike or walk from my house to the top of Mount Diablo. That would be cool. Yeah. So, anyways, peace out. Bye. I love myself and I love you. I love you, which is me. So I love me. Don't I look so handsome? God. God.